In this video, we'll be covering headshot photography tips and insights. This article has been adapted from the written version on Imaginated.com by Nate Torres, photographer and speaker. With that being said, let's dive in. Starting with the first tip, understanding your client's needs. As basic as it may sound, listening to and meeting your client's expectations is crucial. Start with the fundamental questions about the theme of their headshot photograph. Use all of the information you can get to create a rough mental sketch of how their headshot would look. For example, if the client tells you they want a headshot for their LinkedIn, then you might already picture them wearing a nice dress shirt with a white background. You'll want to uncover what meaning they want to attach to their headshots. As with most other situations, clear and effective communication will become your best ally. Don't forget to make sure that both parties are on the same page. Number 2. Have a pre-session consultation. Before the session begins, a consultation is necessary so you understand what the client is expecting in terms of deliverables, looks, and overall vision. For example, do they want a headshot that conveys happiness, or one that is a bit more moody? Number 3. Outfit adjustments. Not everyone will be conveniently dressed for the perfect shot, so it's perfectly fine to give them a suggestion based on the theme they are going for. For starters, using some solid neutral colors that aren't too flashy and bright is always a good idea. Keep in mind that the main focus of headshot photographs is the face of your client. Although optional, preparing a short guideline for fashioning future headshot photography would be desirable and add professionalism to your craft. Number 4. Be flexible and creative. Not all headshot photography needs to be done in a studio with a formal backdrop. Have fun and explore different scenery that may work in your client's favor. Number 5. Prepare all of the essentials. Prepare some extra tools for the session, such as a mirror, a comb, or other equipment that has been asked for during the pre-session consultation. If the client is representing a brand, it may be possible for some props or accessories to be worn as long as it doesn't ruin the composition or take up too much space. The focus should be on the model and not their accessories. Number 6. Prepare a plan B. Nothing is guaranteed to go entirely according to your expectations. If you are not in a studio, uncontrollable factors such as weather, lighting conditions, or even the sudden appearance of a crowd could disrupt your session. Make sure to have a backup plan before conducting a session. In the wise words of Benjamin Franklin, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Number 7. Keep the client comfortable. When a person feels uncomfortable, their expression becomes stiffer and forced. To ensure that the client remains comfortable throughout the session, prepare some water and keep a casual conversation going. Take the lead and guide them through the session, especially if it's their first time doing it. People dislike doing things wrong or causing unnecessary inconvenience, and these feelings make them anxious. If some comforting is in order, do not hesitate to do so. Tell them they're doing great and that the images are looking great as well. Number 8. Keep your cool and relax. The thought of having to retake the same pose over and over will make most beginners feel uncomfortable. What begins as a small, awkward start can become increasingly uncomfortable, and the pressure builds upon your shoulders to take the best photos you can. Try talking to the client and being honest about how you feel and throw some jokes in the mix to lighten up the mood. If all else fails, take a deep breath, try your best, and keep it simple with poses and angles. Number 9. Be enthusiastic and honest. When giving compliments to make your client feel more confident, make sure it's genuine. Nobody likes flat-toned praise that just feels made up, so make sure to show your real excitement for the photo shoot. For example, do they have great hair? If so, be sure to let them know. If you can make your client feel safe, special, and proud of themselves, then you've already achieved a lot. Number 10. Make good use of lighting. The importance of headshot photography lighting cannot be overemphasized. In photography, light is used to highlight the client's form and features. The use of lighting is easily the make or break aspect of your photo. Remember the 3-point lighting system. To get started with an estimate of how much lighting you need, consider the following. What is the client's purpose for the shoot? What is their best feature? Is the photo going to be taken at a generally bright or dim venue? Adjust your headshot photography lighting accordingly to achieve the best results. Your adjustments can include equipment such as an on or off camera flash, a strobe setup, or even a ring light. Number 11. Find the best camera settings. It is always advisable to adjust your camera settings to suit every scenario or photo shoot that you find yourself in. A quick guideline would be an f-stop between f1.8 and f5.6 for a shallow depth of field, which causes a gorgeous pop bokeh effect. The shutter speed should be, at least, double the length of your focal lens. A good camera setting acts as a safety net, which you can rely on when shooting in a new environment. Number 12. Fix your focus. Keeping the client in focus is one of the most important parts of any kind of portrait or headshot photography. General guidelines to avoid blurry photos include focusing on the eyes, using a fast enough shutter speed, and using the correct f-stop. Number 13. Adjust the camera accordingly. There are 3 main steps to take when adjusting your camera. First, you need to set your aperture according to your needs. The wider the aperture, the more you can focus on a single object or person. Secondly, adjust the shutter speed. Shutter speed is adjusted based on the motion of your client or background. Playing with your shutter speed can help you achieve intentionally blurry backgrounds. The last step would be setting the correct ISO. ISO determines how much light the camera picks up, so a higher ISO can add grain to your pictures. These 3 settings make up your exposure triangle, and knowing how each of these works together to affect exposure is crucial to mastering your camera and compositions. Number 14. Experiment with various poses. As a photographer, you can help to make your client's photo as flattering as possible. For example, you could ask them to extend their neck to avoid that dreaded double chin, tilt their head at a slight angle, and many more. The poses you choose will be dependent on the look that your client is trying to achieve. Posing men and posing women is surprisingly different, as some poses work better than others for each gender. Experiment and see what works best for your client. Number 15. Find the perfect angle. Believe it or not, everybody has an angle. You know, that angle that makes them look and feel good no matter what? Ask them, you'll be surprised that most will have an answer for you in terms of their favorite angle or side. Even though you are the photographer, asking them if they have any preferred angles is an act of thoughtfulness. If clients are unsure, take photos from all angles and show them the results and ask if they have any favorites. If you find them picking all side angle shots from a certain side or all front-facing shots, then you've found your answer and you can focus on that side. Number 16. Mix and match your compositions. Let's be honest, nobody wants their profile photo to look like their driver's license. To avoid your headshot looking like a driver's license photograph, consider using some rules of composition. Rules of composition that can make your photos more exciting include the rule of thirds, using negative space, and simplifying, which means you only have 2 to 3 other elements in the background. Photography is a fairly forgiving field because it leaves lots of room for rules to be broken. Number 17. Keep the background simple. To wow your client at first glance of the picture, backgrounds should be kept simple. And simple does not necessarily mean boring. Make sure to set up lighting to help create separation between the subject and the background, so that even if the background happens to be a cityscape, it doesn't overpower the subject. If you are using natural light, ask them to move away from the background to create distance, then use a wide aperture to blur the background. A nicely blurred background can quickly turn from busy to subtle and muted. Number 18. Try shooting while tethered. Tethered shooting gives you the option to screen through images faster. Minor details and small problems can become more apparent while shooting tethered in a studio. At the same time, showing pictures to your client becomes even easier, allowing them to understand minor tweaks in terms of poses or angles. Although it may seem inconvenient for those who conduct a session outside of the studio, it's worth considering, given its many benefits. Number 19. Attention to detail. Because of how little is shown in a headshot, attention to detail is the difference between a good photograph and a terrible one. Eyes must always be in focus. Although it's difficult to tell someone to make their eyes playful or softer, try to make sure they don't look zoned out. Do not underestimate the power of fixing the seemingly unimportant details, like getting sharp focus on the eyes, knocking off some dandruff, straightening their posture, avoiding double chins, and smoothing out creased collars. It may seem a little pedantic, but it does make a difference. Number 20, price accordingly. Different rates may apply depending on where you live and its current situation. A general guideline would be to check the other photographers around you based on their level of expertise. Headshot photography prices shouldn't be too low as it requires you to edit the photos individually. Make sure that it will be worth your time and effort. Some people provide packages that include the length of their session, number of locations, and the number of portraits they edit. Our final tip: practice, practice, practice. As the old saying goes, practice makes perfect. Practicing will help you get more comfortable taking images in a range of different settings. Start by asking your Uncle Bob, or a family member that lives with you. Ask if they want a headshot photo. Search for some good natural light in your backyard or set up your lighting, and off you go. The no-pressure practice acts as your photography sandbox, which is convenient. Even as you progress your skill set as a photographer, always be honing your craft and trying to improve every session. Well, that's all the tips we have for you today. If you want to learn more tips related to headshot photography, check out our Headshot Photography Hub on imaginated.com. And if you are a creator looking to contribute an article, check out our submission page. Until next time, thanks for watching.